Okay. I was just waiting to see. I'm a spaz, I know, and I'm sorry, but I went back to StreamYard. So, well, because when I was setting it up this morning, I had a little bit of issue with the audio, kind of messed me up. I was getting a bunch of feedback. I didn't know where it was from. I thought I had the settings right. So, for now, I'm doing it on StreamYard. What's up? How's it going, everybody? I don't think there's anybody watching yet, but let me look over here. Yeah, it just tells me there's one. See, at least on the other one, it gives me a little monitor. Oh, there it goes. I do have a little monitor. It's been a crazy weekend, long weekend. I know people have, some people in the fish fam are getting ready for this weekend. I believe it's going to be a pretty exciting weekend from what I've been seeing. I haven't been hanging out too much. I've been doing some crazy stuff this week. So it's kind of cool. And I'm going to do a video on it. But my best friend called me in for some assistance. He's basically my brother. And his son, one of his sons, I call him my nephew all the time. He asked for some shrimp and aquarium. So I gave him one of my aquariums and gave him the plants and the substrate and the shrimp. And then he wanted more shrimp. He wanted blue shrimp. So I gave him some more. Well, he went and got another aquarium, which he got from his dad, which was one of my old aquariums. And the long story short is that all of these aquariums that they have over there at their house are my aquariums that I used to have that they got from me before I moved to Ohio after the house fire. So it's kind of cool to see that they're still in use, and even the filters and everything. We got to set it up. We cleaned out the tank and refreshed it. He had cichlids in it before. We're going to go with the guppy and shrimp tank this time. But it's just kind of cool seeing all of this stuff, seeing my nephew with his aquariums, how excited he is, having aquariums again, and then my best friend as well, seeing him, his excitement for aquariums. So it's kind of cool. Nothing major. It's nothing fancy. It's not like if we're doing some, you know, luxurious aquascape, or anything like that. No, it's just regular old setting up an aquarium and making it look as nice as we can. And it's going to take a couple of, you know, resets, kind of, because I know right now he's just got some temporary plants in there. We're going to probably go to the fish store down the street and get a few aquariums. I mean, not a few aquariums, but a few plants. Kind of check that out and make it look. He's like me. He likes it to look as natural as possible. So I'm sure we're going to be filling it up pretty good. That's going to be a pretty cool video. Other than that, let's see. I did do a little bit of work on my aquariums. If you can see, I'm behind. My water levels are a little bit low, so they just need some top offs. But what I have noticed is that evaporation happens a lot more in this cold weather or cold temperatures, and I don't know if it's more evaporation, because of the dry air. Who knows? Good afternoon, brother man. How you doing? Oh yeah, let me see. Does that work here too? It does. I can make that a lot bigger and make me a lot smaller. Control plus. The things we learn for old people. Old people font. Man, I haven't gotten the table yet. I've been wanting to, but man, funds are tight. And I know it's only $100 or whatever, but still, funds are tight. What's up, Joseph? Peace. Yeah, so I want to get a table, because like I said, I need to move product. I need to get it out of my aquariums, and I need to get just woke up. I know the feeling, but I need to get stuff out of here because I'm breeding so many shrimp. My clown killifish, they kind of stall the breeding because I have too many males, and I haven't done a good enough job of keeping them happy while I have my pairs separated. I know which males that I want and which females that I want, and I have them somewhat separated, but they're not. I don't know. I think I screwed up when I kind of just let them go. And so now I got to catch back up and do what I did at the beginning because they were like nonstop breeding. But anyways, I got so many clown killifish. I got so much moss I need to share. I have tanks and tanks full of Sawasser tang and hooker moss, and um, I'm not sure what this moss is, but it's one of my favorites now. I've had it for a while. I got it from Jason back in the day, and he didn't know what it was. And I just had a little piece, and I took that little piece, and I've done all kinds of things with it. It depends on what. It's really cool because sometimes it'll grow upwards, sometimes it'll curl and get kind of bushy. If I lay it flat, it'll kind of like layer feather itself on top of itself. It's really it's cool. You need some clowns for the 10-gallon rack? Cool. Yeah, I got plenty of moss too. Like I said, and here, look, I'll show you. Show you why this is one of my favorites. But I just set it in the tank, and that's how it's growing, and it's kind of curling. And then this one down here, same moss, but it's growing up and out a little bit more. Here's again, same moss. This one's a little bit more leafy, I guess. In this tank, it's growing more leafy and upwards. What's up, Nano? And same thing with my hooker moss. In some cases, it grows like this, all nice and bushy, really tight, small fronds. In other cases, it grows like this, more bushy and longer. This tank's full of hooker moss. Oops, sorry. This has hooker moss in the back and mayberry moss in the front. And that's not even going to my other tanks. My Sawasser tank is just chock full, and I've got it everywhere. You should see the Sawasser tank plant that I gave to my nephew when he took the aquarium. And I didn't really want to break it up because it was what I had done initially, which I do a lot. And this is a little tip for people with Sawasser tang, and you don't know what to do with just a ball of floating loose Sawasser tang. Most of the times what I do is I'll get that ball of Sawasser tang and put it in the spot in the tank where I want it, and then set a little small piece, one of those small 3-4 inch, maybe 5 inch piece of spider wood, and I'll set it on top. So that way the Sawasser tang is sticking out from underneath, and that'll grow and attach itself to the driftwood so that once you trim it and it starts growing out and all that stuff, you can just basically pick it up and move it like a little bush. I do it all the time. Look, I'll give you an example. So those two pieces, Sawasser tang, I just put driftwood on top of it, and then eventually it attached itself. So when I pull out the driftwood, the parts that are attached to it, I could just move it to another tank and it doesn't float all over my tank. Same thing there. That's another piece of driftwood, spiderwood with Sawasser tang. And then same thing here. Yeah, and that's what I do. I just drop the Sawasser tang. I mean, I'll drop the driftwood. You can't see it in this tank because it's too dark. But I'll just drop the driftwood on it and it'll attach itself to it. And I know people are weird, but if there's anything that I've learned with mosses, especially with Sawasser tang, the more you trim it, the more it grows and it starts to take a really cool shape. If you leave Sawasser tang alone, a lot of times it starts getting real finger-like, stringy, so to speak. But if you trim it, those little fingers will spread out, and then it becomes more of like where it's the little round shape coming off the ends, like this Sawasser tang. Look at how pretty that is. And again, same thing. I just take the spider wood and I throw it on there and it attaches itself to it. But I have tons and tons of this. Look at all these clown killifish. These are mostly males. Accidentally, there's a couple of females in there, but these are mostly males. And this is just one tank. It's crazy. What lights am I using? On these racks, it's the Phoenix 24/7 Planet Plus, the real thin aluminum strip. I like those. I like the Phoenix lights, but I really like the fact that they're adjustable. And so I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of them that are the Phoenix 36-inch or 32-inch to 36-inch length. I wish they weren't so expensive, but I've tried other lights and these are my favorite. They don't get overly algified, if that's a word. Algified. I need to talk to Stephen P. We can write a song about it. Algified. I love some of that. It just never grew well for me and somehow just disappeared. And see, that's the weirdest thing about Sawasser tang. And I've had that issue with it to where in one of the tanks I had it in, it was starting to turn really clear and not really green anymore, not a dark green. It was a light green. And so that's what I moved and put in all of these other tanks down here with the driftwood on them. I just moved them into these other tanks when I reset them, and it immediately started turning back dark green and it started growing differently. And I could tell that whatever I had going on, maybe a lack of minerals, whatever, it just didn't like it. Fish fan, what's up? Thanks, Mark. Yeah, I love Sawasser tang. Back in the day when I first started doing all of this, and one of my very first videos on my video list of my YouTube career, I basically did a video. I had a tank full of Sawasser tang, and I was buying Sawasser tang from Flip Aquatics and Aquatic Arts because I was trying to see if I could get the best price that I could for my $20 that I spent. And like one time I ordered from Flip and I got like a little Ziploc bag for $20. But then I ordered from Aquatic Arts and I got this big giant like 4-ounce bowl cup full of Sawasser tang. So I started ordering from them and just chunking it together, and I threw it in an aquarium and I had a big ball washer tank, and I started thinking, hey, that's it. That's what I want to focus on is the washer tank and grow the heck out of it because it's so expensive. And if I can sell a little bitty Ziploc bag for 20 bucks, but then the more I thought about it, it's like, man, so washer tank's one of those things that you either like it or you hate it. And it's hard to like it sometimes the way that people sell it because they do just sell it in a little, it looks like sea lettuce. And then what do you do with it? You just throw it in your tank. It floats everywhere and it's all like, I don't know, sometimes it just isn't appealing. But the driftwood thing really, really helps. And you don't have to do anything with it. Like I said, throw the ball of washer tank, throw this driftwood on top of it, let it start growing out and around it. And once you see that it's taking hold, then start trimming it, and it'll really wrap itself around the driftwood and it'll flourish. It's crazy. And it's easy to make. From there, you just pick it up and move it, and you don't have little pieces floating everywhere. Those are a little pricey. Yeah, I know the Phoenix lights, they're like 80 bucks a pop for one of these strips. That's why I'm like, I wish one of these, I wish I could like talk to the OEMs and like, dude, I'll do videos, I'll do my entire fish room in your lights. Just sponsor me something, give me a discount. Don't have to do anything. I cannot do anything with the best of them. Yeah, you don't have to do anything. Those are the little things I do. Here, let me show you something. I know I'm a nutball, but because I am switching out a lot of my aquariums, most of them, and going away from the double sponge filters only, and I'm switching to the box filters, then so what do I do with all of these plastic pieces and this piping and all of these sponges? Well, you repurpose, Ain't got a whole lot of money, so what do you got to do? You got to repurpose crap. So I have these little things that I'm using for my giant willow moss. And I took the tubes off and I'm just stringing the moss through it and then floating it on top of the aquarium. And this is helping me grow it because then as it gets too long and these things start floating down like this, then I'll just trim off a piece, one of the fronds or something, the heaviest pieces, so it stays floating on top. And then I transfer the pieces to another tank so I can start growing up. This tank it's a mess. I'm cleaning it, obviously. It's in mid clean. It's going to be reset like this one. But yeah, so those are the little things I do like this to repurpose my stuff. And I like this little, I don't have to get it 3D printed or anything. I could just pull it off and cut it off with my PVC cutter. And I even did one that's weighted down and I strung this moss through it. And it's overgrown and taken over the tube already. But this is such pretty moss. I really love it. My PRLs right here, they're going crazy. So I got to do some expanding, and that's going to be my next video, is what I'm going to do on resetting and setting up a tank so that I can expand my colony of PRLs. And what I'm trying to do is, if you'll see there, the one right there, you see it's got like, it looks like a stripe down its middle of its body. And I got a couple of them that way. I want to separate those from the ones that have very little red. And then I also want the 4 band ones separated. So I kind of want to have like 4 or 5 different tanks of patterns that I'm working with. But yeah, I need more tanks for these PBLs. I got this tank that's just exploding. You can see all the babies. I got this tank down here, which you can see is also exploding. Babies everywhere, buried mamas everywhere. I have that 20-gallon tank up there that's just full. And that's why the water's cloudy, because I need to do a water change on it, because that one I changed the water a little bit more than any other ones, because I have so many shrimp in that tank. So I'm trying to keep it clean but not sterile. Clean but not sterile. I love shrimp. I wonder if that's still on here since I'm using StreamYard.
I love shrimp. Who else loves shrimp? I love shrimp. Who else loves shrimp?
It's still there. That's kind of cool. Here's another one.
I love shrimp. Who else loves shrimp? I love shrimp. Who else loves shrimp?
I remember when I had Therese Neal on here, and happy belated birthday to Therese. She turned the big 50 yesterday or day before. I think it was day before. But Shrimp Princess is now 50 years old and looking good for 50 years old. Here, let me show you this moss. Okay, we were talking about it, how I said I use it for a lot of different things. I hope the audio is not too loud, but check it out. Isn't that cool, moss? Yeah, that's some pretty cool moss, and that's why I said it's become one of my favorite, because it depends on what you do with it. If you put it on driftwood and lay it on top and kind of feather it, then it'll continue to do that. It'll grow that way, and then it looks like little leaves off of the tree and branches. If you just throw it in a ball, sometimes it'll do the same thing and start feathering itself. Sometimes it'll just start curling up in little balls and have little fingers like little bushes. Other times it fans out, and it's kind of cool. I like it. Have you seen Jadrin's latest video? Man, I talked to him. The last time I talked to him was probably, well, I didn't really talk to him. We haven't talked in years, honestly, ever since he moved out, ever since I stopped working there. Once I started, yeah, it's been a couple of years that we've actually spoken, but we've chatted, messaged back and forth here and there. All I know is that he sent me a picture of the fish room, saying that his son turned it into a jam room. It's got a drum set in it. It's a picture of a drum set. You can see where he started to do plumbing for air, and you can see the air pump sitting on the floor, but that's about as far as he got in that fish room in his new shop. But he did post on one of my videos where he did say, man, you're making me want to set up aquariums again. I was like, yes, go for it. Do it, Jason. Do it. But yeah. So that's part of my plan. And I was almost going to do that, is do a video while I'm doing my setup. Well, I mean, a live stream while I'm doing the setup and changing it out. And that's kind of why I used StreamYard because it was the easiest just to last minute schedule it because I didn't do it with OBS because I was too busy. I don't know. It's been a weird couple of days, whatever. But I did get a lot of video. I mean, I have so many shrimp I want to share. I want to get rid of. Anybody needs shrimp, let me know. Hit me up. Send me an email, especially crystals. I got plenty of crystals. Um, if you need some more clowns, Mark, let me know. Um, I could definitely pull you some that I think would you'd be very, very happy with. Uh, it is weird because I've now that I've bred so many of the clown killifish, when I look at them, it's kind of the way I look at my shrimp. So I may see a particular color, um, the particular pattern is just a little bit, and they're not exactly the same from male to male to male to male, you know. And I think I've done a pretty good job of figuring out which characteristics and traits that I liked and was able to pair them up with the right female to produce the right fry to get me some of the colors that I have. Some of them are really cool, especially the ones that have really, really bright yellow dorsal fin and really bright yellow tips. Oh, it's cool. But I never thought I'd geek out on the different colors and patterns, on the clown killifish like I do the the shrimps. But even the eyes, some of the males don't get as blue eyes as others, or maybe it's just because I do know that when they're in spawn mode, their colors really come out. And having a lot of males together, they start getting they get frisky with each other because they don't have anything else to do, so they're frisky with each other. But if you have a super dominant male in there, he'll nip off the tails of the other males. And so then I had a bunch of killifish swimming around. It was like they had their tail, but the middle, the fire part, the orange tip was gone. So I took because the male that I have, like I've had him since the beginning 2 years ago. He's like this long. He's about the size of my pinky, to be honest. It's a big old clown killifish. You really want some for the American Kill Convention in June? Cool. Hopefully by then I'll have a whole bunch of new fry too, because like I said, I'm working on redeveloping my stuff here and get back to the original plan like I had it and see if that works. But I think a lot of it is that before I didn't have a bunch of adolescents or males or grown ups, adults. I didn't. I just had the few that I had that I was breeding with. So the tanks that the fry were being born into weren't overloaded with 30, 20, or 30 other brothers, siblings, parents. So I think that's part of my mess. My mess up is that I'm overcrowded. So they kind of stall. Oh, thanks. Man, I just like the clown killies. They look really cool. They're unique. You don't have to do anything to them. They have all of the different colors, and you don't, I mean, it's not like you have to pick out a certain, it's just the clown killifish. Well, they don't all look the same, but that's what I'm hoping is that hopefully some of the genetics that I have, if I can keep them, then now they do. They look awesome. The blue eyes, the tips, the dorsal fin. And like I said, they're not all the same. I need to do a better video and kind of show some of that just so you can see them. Clown killifish are fun. And the reason I started doing clown killifish, one was because Jason said that he couldn't breed them. And he kind of gave me it kind he kind of challenged me always back in the day when me and Jason would talk about our tanks or what we wanted to do, you know. So many times I'd say, man, I'd love to breed some of these. And he'd be like, yeah, good luck. Like if I couldn't do it. So I'd always take that like, oh yeah, just because you can't doesn't mean I can't. And I did that with the clown killifish. When I did the video, and I was still living in Arkansas temporarily. I did a video and fish tour of his fish room before we opened the shop, before any of that. And when I was doing the filming, I asked him about the clown killifish because he had such a awesome setup that he was using to breed his killifish. And he was like, yeah, I don't have any luck with those. I can't breed them. And I was like, really? And he was like, yeah, they don't breed for me. So I made it my mission. I wanted to learn how to breed clown killifish. And I succeeded. And because even when we had our shop and we were selling fish, we couldn't keep clown killifish in stock to save our lives. We'd get 50 of them and bam, they either disappeared, all jumping out of the tank, I would assume. That's the only thing I could, or because and this is, I didn't think about it till afterwards, because they're pretty much surface dwellers. And he had an overflow, you know, it wasn't screened off or anything, just an overflow for the automatic watering system. I'm thinking a lot of them went in there. But either way, when we did have them, we take them to shows, bam, gone. I mean, in the first 30 minutes of Aquashella opening or the Aquatic Expo, the local fish expos or whatever, they're gone immediately. So that made me really want to get to where I could produce them. And then when I was producing them, I was like, yes, I have a little factory going. But I never thought about overproducing and then being like, what do I do now? Same thing with my shrimp. I never thought I'd be in a position to where I'm like, help me. I need to get rid of some stuff. I'm out here in Terrell, and I've been pondering and pondering. Do I move? Do I go back? All this. And, right now, where I'm at with my fish room, for the first time ever since I started doing this, I'm in the same place for longer than a year. And I don't want to give that. I don't want to give that up. I don't. I put a lot of work into this. So I'm pretty much, I think I'm here for a little bit longer. I'm just gonna, it's the best thing for me. Hola, Zen. How you doing? So yeah, and I also, when I was doing the setup for this stream last minute, I also noticed that while I was sitting here at the beginning and I had scheduled it for 11 p.m. And I was like, 11 p.m. And then I did it in OBS too, because it said error, couldn't set up the stream. So then I did it in StreamYard and it said error. And then I went back and noticed I had two streams. So yeah, it was a crazy morning this morning. And I apologize for all of that mess, but I'm going to get this right. I'm going to remember how to do all of this stuff. And I'm going to get it right. I promise. Papa, when you get to where you have too many, that's when you sell few and make a little money. Yeah, I wish. And that's what I need to do. I need to sell shrimp. I need to sell mosses. My guppies, I'm not so worried about, because now that my best friend is resetting his aquarium, he wants to get back into his guppies, which is good, because I've kind of been waiting for this to happen so that way I can take all my guppies and give them to him and let him take care of the guppies. I need more space for my shrimp. I need to expand my green Neo tank because they're exploding and they're way more than I thought. I took out all of the anchor moss that was in that aquarium, and there are a lot of green shrimp in there. Yeah, I know. I need to go over there and talk to Sue. As a matter of fact, my nephew, when he called me last weekend, I think it was, not this past weekend, but the weekend before, he called me and was like, hey, what do I do with these cichlids that I got? I kind of want to, you know, get rid of them. And I told him to call AZ Aquatics. I told him they're right down the street, dude. And he was like, what? So he went over there and he ended up buying a bunch of plants. So now it's really cool to see my nephew all excited about it. But he filled it up with plants. Looks really good. Unfortunately, they're all like straight from um, a shipment, it looks like, because they are not aquatic yet. Definitely not aquatic right now. So I told him to be prepared for the die off and all of that fun stuff. But yeah, he's all excited about. And I kept telling him, I was like, tell him one that I sent you, and number two, I need to get with Sue and see about selling some of my stuff there. Honestly, I'd love to like have an aquarium or two and set it up with my filter boxes so that way I could put some caridina in there and sell those. That would be really cool. But yeah, I need to talk to Sue. I need to utilize that source. Um, and I've done it before because I used to have my business. I don't know if they still have it up there, but I used to have my business card, and I remember people calling me. They'd be like, "Hey, do you have any of these?" And I'd be like, "Yeah, I do." And they'd come over to my house and pick them up. And I did see at one time she had red pintos. She had some PRLs that she had posted to sell. I know she doesn't do a whole lot with the shrimp as much as she used to. Yeah, I have just too many random guppies and elders that I ignored way too long and lost interest, and I want to get them out of like 6 different tanks. Yeah, and it's not that I don't like my guppies. Trust me, I worked hard. I had three Vienna guppies. That's it. And from those three, I probably have now at least 150 guppies, probably more that have come and gone, crooked spines, whatever. But for a little bit, they started producing all different colored fish. And I didn't understand it, but they were all in my tub. So I didn't really pay attention. Well, when I started catching them, then I put them in an aquarium, then I separated them. And I separated the blue greenish ones, whatever color they are, but bluish green colors. And I separated those and put them back in the tub. And then I left only the nice, really nice looking Vienna guppies. And then I separated those. And now I have like 2 dozen male Vienna guppies. And I probably had about 24 to 30 some odd female Vienna guppies, blondes, without all of the different colorations. And so, but my buddy has those now. So I'll get those to him, let him separate. Yeah, and that's kind of the thing. I was really wanting to clean up the Vienna guppies, which I did, and now I'm happy. Does that make sense? It's like, okay, now I'm happy. I cleaned them up. You know, they're not producing a bunch of random colors anymore. Now they're pretty consistent with their colors. That's it. Here you go. Here you go, best friend. You have them. And then the same thing with the double sword, gold blue double sword pen, whatever they call them. I mean, I have them, and I did a pretty good job of cleaning them up as far as getting rid of the ones with the long lyre tail looking and more rounded double sword tail looking. I know that probably doesn't make a whole lot of sense, but if you've seen these guppies when they first entered the US 8 years ago, there were two rounded tails. It looks like two swords, two little short swords. And I think over time, we've ended up with a lot of pointy. They're not so gold and blue anymore, and they're more lyre tail. It is Papa Shrimp Aquatics at gmail.com. Boom, boom, boom. I have stuff ready in StreamYard, and that's why I originally used it, because I can take off these banners. I have the stuff that I used to play, my backgrounds. Aha, that was Joseph. I watched that video not too long ago. Man, that was a pretty cool video. I did a pretty good job on that video. I like it. And Aquashella people didn't give me no love for it. Man, what's wrong with them? But Carrie did. I remember, because that was one of the things when we were getting our passes or creator badges or whatever. You know, they wanted to make sure that we were still promoting it and everything. Why else give us badges and stuff if we're not going to be promoting it? So I made that little video. That was my attempt. Here, wait, let's see.
Papa Shrimp, Papa Shrimp, Papa Shrimp.
That was a good video. I did good work. Shanna, Shanna, Shanna. Shanna Banana. You still wear that same hat? Yeah, Saturday morning cartoons. I remember that. 503 Aquatics and Scuba. What did he call himself? Was it Scuba Guy? What did he call himself? Something like that, I think. Hello, Chris. Working and lurking. Yeah, that's kind of the point. Sneak away from work while you're on your lunch break, you know, whatever, getting ready for the night shift. Depths unknown. It was Scuba Steve, and then he changed it, right? Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, all those names. That's all those different ones. He will always be a goop. I know I will always be. And that's one of the things, being away from streaming for a little while. And then when I started trying to sneak my way back in, of course, started by watching everybody see what's going on. I got to try to catch up, whatever the case may be. And even now, um, that's that's the main thing. I don't want to end up being a caricature of myself, if that makes any sense. And I talked to my son about it. My son's a big inspiration, a big help, and he was like, dude, when you're just being you, that's when you're at your best. He goes, all the other stuff, you don't need it, And I was like, that's true. That's so keep it simple. Just be me. Yeah, degenerate fish keeper for a while too. That's right. That's right. Yeah, and see, but that's kind of the thing. That's why now, doing all of this, I'm not worried about it. I don't like using these words, but I don't care. It really doesn't bother me. I'm just going to be me. I'm going to do me. I'm going to talk about whatever. Hopefully, people enjoy it, and if not, I'm sure you're going to tell me this sucks, dude, and I don't mind. Okay, let's talk about something else. that's what that's what makes it fun. And these are going to be a little bit different format, of course, than my Wednesday night streams. But in case you didn't know, I'm starting the Wednesday stream again. I will, if I figure out if I'm doing it on StreamYard or OBS, as far as my presentation. I want to do it on OBS because I can set up both cameras. Um, but I will be doing a giveaway. So if you're interested, I'm going to be giving away some shrimp and maybe some fish and some mosses. So I promised I would do a giveaway whenever I hit 1,000 subscribers. I hit 1,000 subscribers a couple of months ago, but I wanted to make sure it wasn't going to disappear and drop back down like YouTube does. I mean, there's days I have this many subscribers, and then the next day I lost 6, and then the next day I gained 7, and then it's weird. And plus, I wanted to wait to make sure, get past all of this weather stuff. I know we're not past it, and in some areas, I hope everybody's okay. But I wanted to get at least through the January month before I started shipping stuff, if that makes any sense. But yeah, I'll be giving away some stuff. Maybe even a shirt, a Keeping It Shrimple shirt. I don't have any more extra larges. All I have is extra large. I have like 2 large, or maybe it's 2 mediums and 1 large, something like that. But I don't have very many shirts left. I had a couple of smalls, but I kept those because I'm going to give those to my grandkids. Kind of awesome seeing my grandkids run around wearing Papa Shrimp stuff. But anyways, so yeah, that's what we got going on over here. How big have you seen, if you're still here, Mark, how big have you seen the clown killifish get up to? Because that big one that I have, like I said, it's about the size of my pinky. When I look over in the tank that I see it in, it's just huge. and all the other ones look tiny compared to it. I would love to know how to stop spam calls. I can't watch 5 minutes without multiple trying to ring and mess up my watch. Yeah, spam calls suck. I always block them every time I see them and block, block. And that's one of the things that I did not enjoy about my occupational duties when I worked with Tough Shed. You know, it was kind of one of those things. Like, let's say you went to Home Depot and you saw the Tough Shed sign that says win a free shed, and you scan it with your phone and you enter to win a free shed, right? That comes to me on my computer as a lead. What we were supposed to do with that lead is we were supposed to be on a cadence. And I don't remember what they called it, 411 2 1, I don't know, 411 1 1, whatever. The purpose was first week, a call every day. Call your phone number. Day two, or week two, every day. Call your phone number. Text you and call you. Then week three, drop it down to every other day. Text and call. Week four, once, and then after that, just once every couple of weeks. Fish things. It's just my new schedule. It'll be Tuesday, Wednesdays, and Thursdays. So that's kind of what I'm trying to stick to. But yeah, so I used to tell them, I was like, but you want me to call these? I called the people yesterday. Well, did they answer? No, I don't believe you. Call them again and document it. But okay, well, let me call them. Well, you're not saying the right things. Make sure you're saying it this way when you call them, and make sure your message leaves it so whether there's a question, so they'll call you back. And then when they do call you back, document it and make an appointment. And I was like, but not everybody's really interested in buying a Tough Shed. They're free one, sure, but that doesn't mean that just because they signed up, I need to call it. Yes, you do. You're losing opportunities for sales. So yeah. And I started thinking after years of doing this that, man, I'm not comfortable with it. I wouldn't be comfortable with somebody doing this. I hate it when I go to even Tractor Supply to buy a 100-gallon tub, and then I give them my email, and then I'm getting emails and text message. What's your phone number, please? You go to CVS to buy something. Oh, yes. What's your phone number? Do you have a member card? You don't have a member card? Well, we need to get you one. No, I don't want to give you my personal information. Why is that shocking? And then if I don't, I can't do business here. What are you trying to say? I'll go buy my medicine somewhere else then. I'll whatever. I'm not, no. But that's what I worked. Did you ever sell a shed to people who entered for a free shed? Yes. I'm not going to lie. I have. They'd enter for a free shed. I'd call them up and they were like, well, this is what I wanted. Well, the free shed we're giving away isn't that. Oh, okay. Well, then what would it be for me to get what I want? And then I sell it to them. But it wasn't very, I think out of the 2 years that I worked there, out of the people that entered for a free shed, 2 people bought a shed instead. Yeah. And that's the thing too, Okay. So when you're a private employee owned company, apparently, especially in sales, the way that your company is valued to create a value to the employee owned stock, they do that based on potential sales. If you enter the contest and I call you and you say, man, I just wanted a free shed and I didn't win. Get me off of your call list. Okay. I am not, according to the company, supposed to delete your information and take you off the list. No, I put you in a bucket and I assign you a quote, right? And that quote has a dollar value attached to it that I designed you a shed for $4,000. Well, if I have 100 of you that don't really want a shed, but I quoted, that's $400,000 worth of potential sales. And they use that to value the company to put the stock money on it. So that way they can say our stock is valued at $33 a share or $80 a share. And that to me, I was just like, no, I want to delete, 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 delete. So before I left, I knew I was leaving. I deleted as much of the information. People that I knew weren't answering. They had been in the system for 4 or 5 years, and they still wanted me calling those people. No, delete, 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 delete. They don't want to shed. They don't need to be in your database. I would hate it if it was me and my information was in your database for 5, 6 years so that you can put a dollar amount on it. But no, you don't need my information. It's just, yeah. So yeah, I understand the spammers. They sell our information, and then it goes on and on and on and on and on. That's why I did, and I apologize to all of you, but I did send an email out. I think at the beginning of December to everybody on my list of YouTube people that I had your, you know, email address. You've sent me emails, you bought shrimp from me, whatever the case may be. And I sent all of y'all an email. And I even felt bad about that. I was like, I don't want them to think that I'm just going to spam them on every, week. Hey, Papa Shrimp's got stuff. No, I didn't. But I wanted to let you know, hey, this is what I got going on. I haven't seen everybody in a long time. If they say do not call me for 1 year, you cannot call them back. LOL. But scam calls don't use same numbers. Yeah, but see, and that's what I don't know if any of that applies. Apparently, it doesn't apply for Tough Shed. We are not calling as spammers. We're because you expressed interest in Tough Shed. That means now I have the right to call you as much as possible to remind you that you're interested in a Tough Shed, whether you are or not. Yeah. So apparently, part of that is why I am no longer employed there because my attitude was just, no, this is stupid. And then you want me to document it. And then if I'm not doing it, between promo close weekend, I've got to make 300 phone calls and document every single one of them. All right. But I only have like 30 people that I've talked to in the past 2 months. I can call each one of them 3 times, to get my numbers where they need to be. And since I wouldn't do that kind of stuff, I never got my numbers where they needed to be. So I'm no longer employed. And because of my attitude about it, no, I'm not doing that. No, I'm not going on Facebook Market. No, I'm not selling crap on OfferUp. No, I'm not getting with the Chamber of Commerce. You want me to go to the flea market on the weekends on my time? I'm an hourly employee, and you want me to work elsewhere other than my office? Tell me how that works. Well, you need to do that as part of the job. No, it's not. No, it's not. Bye. Yeah, I would guess if and that's where I was at. If people said do not call, okay, I take them off my list, I delete them. And it got to the point there before they terminated my employment that yes, I did make sure to And I even documented it. I have called them enough to where they finally told me to go away. And I even said it in meetings. I'm taking your approach, Mr. Boss Man. I call them and call them and text them and call them and text them, and until they tell me to go away. Is that what you want me to do? Because that's what I'm doing, and that's dumb. It's just, but as long as the information is in the computer system on their little software, potential sales, then that gives the company more value than what it is actually worth. So that when people aren't selling, they're at least quoting and designing and creating false interest that they can put a value to give the company more value. Yes, they wanted me to be their advertising. They wanted me to be their marketing team. And that's where I was like, I worked with the company that went from being a ma and pa company to where we structured our organization enough to be bought by Home Depot, and we became Home Depot. I know how to do this, and the way you're doing it is wrong, but you use Home Depot's marketing, advertising, influence, and money. If you're really a partnership, then you do that together. And I shouldn't have to be going on Facebook to advertise for Home Depot and Tough Shed. Home Depot should just advertise Home Depot products, which is Tough Shed. Hello. But anyways, yeah, that's why I don't do that no more. And now I've had a lot of time to spend with my aquariums, and I got a lot of work to do. It's crazy. It's crazy how much work there always is to do. If you're doing stuff like this, not aquariums in general. If you have one aquarium and you're a hobbyist, no, it doesn't take that much work. But I don't know, it's fun. I enjoy taking care of my tanks. I enjoy setting them up. I enjoy doing what I did yesterday with my buddy, to go out there and reset his tank, clean it all out, get rocks from the pond, all of these rocks and stuff. He had a piece of dragonstone that was from my aquarium. He had a piece of holy rock in his pond that's from my aquariums back before the house fire. All of the spider wood that he had are all pieces of spider wood that I gave him. Here, throw these in your pond, do all of this. So it's kind of cool. All the lights, the aquarium itself, the stands, the pumps, filters, everything. It's all my stuff. So it's kind of cool to see that it's still there, it's still alive, and it's still being used today. That's kind of cool. I enjoy that. That's the part of the hobby that really makes me go, that's fun. And to see my nephew and him just totally excited about aquariums again. He's a 60-year-old man. Well, 61-year-old man. And he's just like a kid in a candy shop. He's like, I'm so excited, man. I can't wait to have my guppies and shrimp. You're old, Joseph. Old man. That's okay. Trust me, I spent all weekend going, ow, oh. I mean, there was so many. Saturday, I spent all day with my buddy. We went into town, into Fort Worth, South Fort Worth, Forest Hill area, and went over there to meet with my bass player so we could do some studio recording stuff, trying to get some tracks laid down. And, we're trying to get creative, come up with new songs and stuff. No, my nephew is he's 21. My best friend, my brother, his father, my nephew's father. Yeah, he's 61. He's my best friend. He was my guitar player, singer in my band Exodus Red. I've known him forever. That's why I say my nephew. I mean, they've always called me Uncle Jerry. I've always been Uncle Jerry to the family over there. So they're my nephews. I have one blood nephew from my sister. You can't brain anymore. But yeah, I appreciate everybody hanging out. Sorry it was kind of last minute. I did it fugly, but I'm going to get it. I think committing to 11 o'clock is a lot easier than committing to 9 o'clock in the morning. Although I will do 9 o'clock in the mornings if there's others that want to do a 9 o'clock in the morning thing, or somebody else wants to do it. I'll join you, or I don't know. We'll figure it out. But I'm just glad to get back in the swing of things. Um, Hopefully, some of the videos I'll be making here will help, maybe motivate, inspire, or at least entertain. That's my goal. What else do I got going on right now? Um, I wish there was a lot more, but hey, I'm kind of at a point, like I said, when I'm at a point where I have too many things and I've got to keep on expanding and getting rid of and making more room for everything, you know, eventually I see this entire rack of 9 aquariums being all just PRLs. And the same thing with my black galaxies. I need 2 or 3 more tanks to separate some of the patterns and the color variations that I got going on. If I did that with my red pintos, it would be the same thing. I would need 4 or 5 tanks to separate all the different color combinations. It just, yeah, I'm having a blast. I appreciate everybody hanging out and having fun with me. Awesome. Thank you, Zan. Thank you, everybody. I hope we see you next time. I'm going to go get me something to eat because I'm a little bit hungry myself. And don't forget, tomorrow, old, normal Wednesday, same bat time, same bat channel, keeping it Shrimple Stream. And I'll be doing a giveaway. So hang out. Tell your friends. Tell everybody. The more, the merrier. Let's just have some fun. I love shrimp. Thanks, guys. Here, wait. Oh, wait. I can do it over here. Let's see.
I love shrimp. Who else loves shrimp? I love shrimp. Who else loves shrimp?
Beautiful. Y'all have a good one. I'm going to play this video on the way out just because I like it. It's a good video. Have a good one.